We just celebrated America's birthday, so you would think that would mean most American citizens would have been in a festive mood to recognize the greatest nation in the world. But not everyone was in such a good mood, as one WNBA star claimed that America is a trash country. For MRC-TV, I'm John Simmons and welcome to the woke world of sports. Washington Mystics guard Natasha Cloud compared America to garbage on June 30th, which was the day after the Supreme Court ruled to abolish affirmative action in college universities. But Cloud didn't just say America was a good-for-nothing country because colleges aren't allowed to racially discriminate in the admissions process anymore. She went on and on, spewing nonsense about how our justice system incarcerates people based on their race, that religion is used to oppress people, women don't have rights to their bodies because they can't get abortions, etc., etc. She did most of her complaining just days before Independence Day. Talk about being tone-deaf. Cloud's endless complaining caught the attention of Enes Kanter Freedom, a former NBA player turned activist who offered to take Cloud to countries that actually have oppressive forms of government. Freedom is probably the most qualified athlete to talk about experiencing real oppression. A native of Turkey, he was put on his homeland's terrorist watch list for daring to criticize Turkey's president, and he currently has a $500,000 bounty on his head.
What does that mean, a bounty on your head?
So, first of all, thank you for having me, Mr. Carlson. I was doing a basketball camp in Vatican, actually, for Christians, Catholic, Muslim, and Jewish kids, and I heard the news for the first time, and I got in touch with FBI immediately, and they said, come back to America at this moment. So I took a flight the next day, and so, this is the first time actually the Turkish government put a bounty on my head and put me in a most wanted terrorist list.
Cloud should consider herself lucky. She has the freedom to rant about how quote-unquote bad America is, and yet her government isn't putting out a reward for her capture. Not only that, but Freedom has also dealt with actual oppression in America. He was ostracized from the NBA because he dared to criticize the league's relationship with China.
Let's reach out to these artists around the world which has been oppressed by their governments. Let's come up with this, shoes which has no slave labor, and I'm just gonna put that on my shoes and go out there and play basketball. How simple is that? So the first game was against the Knicks. I put the shoes on, it was saying free Tibet, nothing crazy. I went out there and played basketball. Before the game, a minute before the game, the two gentlemen from the NBA came to me and said, take your shoes off. And I'm like, excuse me? They're like, you gotta take your shoes off because your shoes has been getting so much attention. It was from China. It was the perfect moment for me because I was just getting ready for my citizenship test, right? So I closed my eyes. I was like, okay, there are 27 amendments. My first amendment, freedom of speech. I was like, no, I'm not taking them off. And at halftime, they didn't even wait for the whole game to end. At halftime, China banned every Celtics game in television. At halftime, think about it. At halftime, and then after the game, one of my teammates walked up to me and said, this is your last year in the NBA, right? You're not gonna play basketball ever again. There's two things. You criticize China, you criticize Nike, you will not be able to play basketball ever again in this league. And that pretty much happened, in February. Boom, I was gone.
While the NBA is separate from our government, it's still an American business, which means he would have every right to play the I'm oppressed card. And yet Freedom didn't, because he focuses on all the good America has done for him and the world. Is America perfect, or will it ever be? Absolutely not. But it is perhaps the greatest political experiment in world history that has done so much good for its own citizens and countries across the globe, and it keeps striving to be a more perfect union. Cloud would be wise to remember that the next time she wants to get on her social media soapbox. So folks, what do you think? Was my analysis a home run, or was it a big swing and a miss? Feel free to leave your comments and subscribe to our social media channels that still let you see our content. And always remember, be on your A game and don't cave to the woke agenda in sports. For MRC TV, I'm John Simmons.